Yo, you guys, this one's pretty important. I'm not even going to get into it and explain or preface it, but my friend Amy does a really great job. It's about black nobility. Ready? Let's go.
Have you ever looked at your birth certificate? Have you noticed the red CUSIP numbers on the bottom? CUSIP is the acronym for Committee on Uniform Security Identification Procedures, a committee of the American Bankers Association. A CUSIP number is used to identify a financial asset or bond. This bond is a security note on the New York Stock Exchange. Why? Because you are worth money to the international bank that bought your identity during the bankruptcy of America in 1933. The birth certificate became the identification of the monetization of the spirit and body of a living human being. With the existence of the birth certificate, your straw man was born, the artificial, legal, on paper you. And this artificial you represents the debt America will never be able to pay off. In 1913, the Federal Reserve Act was signed into law by Woodrow Wilson, and prior to that, Americans owned property free and clear of mortgages or taxes. The Federal Reserve is a maritime lender, operating on interest and taxes. When the United States went bankrupt in 1933, the international bankers swooped in, and the United States government pledged to sell everyone out by leveraging our future earnings, labor, and assets as collateral to back all of the money the government borrowed. As an added bonus, our government also pledged our federal territories, national parks, and nonprofit organizations. And because of this power play by the international bankers in 1933, London still runs and owns the United States. Until the Federal Reserve is completely abolished and we return to the gold standard, the United States is 100% controlled. Do not fool yourself to think otherwise. So back to the straw man. The straw man is your legal persona. It is the name on your birth certificate, displayed in all capital letters. Capital equals money. Your marriage license, your car title, your health insurance, the list goes on. Your straw man exists to confuse you into thinking that you actually own everything you buy. The straw man is the artificial you, and if the artificial you fails to make a payment, the powers that be can take your car, shut off your energy, your cable, turn off your water, and even take your child away. When your child is born, the minute you sign their birth certificate, they become a ward of the state. And if you don't follow their rules, the state can come and take your child away. What you may not know is that you are able to abandon your artificial persona through a series of complex steps. And by doing this, the government has no power over the natural you, the flesh and blood you. The pursuit of happiness includes the right to engage in a common occupation or business without a license, to travel freely without a driver's license, and the right to own property without paying property tax. These are your God-given rights as a natural citizen. And if you were ever stopped for a DUI and questioned, when the cop asks, "Do you understand?" If you answer yes, you are verbally signing an agreement that you actually stand under their artificial law. Do you see the magic trickery of their words? There is power in their words, and you have the right to remain silent. There are two kinds of laws that rule the world. The first is civil law. This is the law of the land. The second law is the UCC, otherwise known as Uniform Commercial Code. This is the law of God in the world of business. It doesn't matter what country you are in, you and your business are working under the UCC. The UCC is based directly on canon law, which is the law of the Catholic Church. Canon law is a system of laws and legal principles created by the Catholic Church to enforce specific behaviors and actions of individuals. In the book titled Argentia Judea, the author, who is a government official, accused fake Judaism of being the source of an international union that has infiltrated the Catholic Church at the highest levels. He states, visible powers of Judaism are actually Zionist projects, including capitalism, communism, Masons, and the Vatican. And this has been going on since the 19th century. So who are the Zionists? They are the real enemy of the Jews. They are the black nobility. This brings me to a book by Edouard Drumont titled The French Jew, who claimed the same thing about the fake Jews, and his book sparked anti-Semitism in France, and that was not his intention. Do you think it is a coincidence that bank secrecy in Switzerland started with the Catholic French kings? Did you know that the Rothschilds have 3 banks in Switzerland? In 264 BC, Rome attacked Carthage in full force, killing and enslaving everyone, and sowing the land so they could no longer farm. The Edomites intermarried with the Turks, which became the Khazarians. These Khazarians later became known as the Venetians, who later married into European royalty and aristocracy, which we all know today as the black nobility. The black nobility is who controls the Federal Reserve in the United States today. These families have spawned, intermarried, and work closely with the Russian Mafia, the Sicilian Mafia, the Armenian Mafia, the Israeli Mafia, the Greek Mafia, the royal family of Iran, the royal family of Afghanistan, the Vatican, the Jesuits, Chinese triad gangs, Hollywood, the Catholic Mafia, the Albanian Mafia, the British monarch, Scottish nobility, Spanish nobility, French gangs, the Knights of Malta, the South American drug cartels, and many more. These powerful and wealthy groups all work together to remain in total control, to stay powerful and wealthy. Many of the banking companies in America are run by Jesuit-trained CEOs, like James Gorman, the CEO of Morgan Stanley. Have you ever wondered why we wear caps and gowns for graduation ceremonies? It goes all the way back to the Druid priests, who wore the cap and gown to signify intelligence and superiority. Druids practiced human sacrifice, practiced magic, and believed in immortality. The earliest text you can find on the Druids is from Julius Caesar's book, Commentaries on the Gallic War. This then evolved into the Catholic clergy and into modern day. This signifies a religious order or an oath of system evolvement. Donald Trump and his ex-wife, Ivana, have many mafia ties. There are black nobility families who are members at Mar-a-Lago. Have you ever wondered how Jay-Z became a billionaire? Is it a coincidence that he named his record company Rockefeller Records? Would you ever think you could connect Jay-Z to Joe Biden? They both work for the Buffalino crime family out of Scranton, Pennsylvania. Benny the Butcher and West Side Gun both work for Jay-Z. You can look into their shady past. Joe Biden has an honorary degree from the University of Scranton, where he was born, which is also a Jesuit school. The great-granddaughters of Mussolini still run the Order of the Roman Achaia, which is the Roman military. Here is the Jesuit Pope Francis with Prince Carlo of Bourbon Two Sicilies, whose ancestors officially started the Jesuits. Prince Carlo is also a Knight of Malta. Pope Francis has been called a violent psychopath who oversees the Vatican's financing of gang stalkers, including the financing of human sacrifices to secret societies. And it is the black nobility that is allegedly selling adrenochrome. Here is the Pope with another Knights of Malta Duke. The Knights of Malta is controlled by the Black Pope, and their headquarters is in Rome at the Vatican. Did you know we have a Black Pope? The Black Pope is the leader of the Jesuits. The Knights Templar claim to be guards for the pilgrims entering into Jerusalem, but that was just a mask. Their real purpose was to create the Priory of Zion. Notice the Red Cross? This is where we get the Red Cross Association of today. Leonardo da Vinci was a Grand Master and was sponsored by the Medici family in the 15th century, backed by black nobility. Did you know that the Knights of Columbus is a Vatican military fraternal order designed to infiltrate police departments? There are many celebrities that have been knighted by the Queen. They were chosen to be knighted for their service to the country. What has Keira Knightley done? John Lennon returned his medal and revoked his knighthood due to the British monarch's involvement with the Vietnam War, among other wars. He called them hypocrites. He seemed to have broken his Tavistock brainwashing, and we all know what happened to John Lennon. In the movie Eyes Wide Shut, Stanley Kubrick exposed the black nobility's secret rituals and their dark arts. Kubrick died 6 days after showing his film to Warner Brothers. Did you know that the Mentmore Tower building in Kubrick's film was built for the Rothschild family in the 19th century? I believe Kubrick was displaying how wealth and power blur the lines between good and evil. In the movie, Tom Cruise gets invited to the secret society, not even knowing that one of the masked women is in fact his wife. Another nod of how things are hidden in plain sight. Other themes are pedophilia, Project Monarch sex slaves, drugs, and sacrificial murder. Tom Cruise was married to Katie Holmes at the Odescalchi Castle, owned by the black nobility families, Orsini and Borgia. Cruise was secretly knighted by them and is a top Scientologist. And if you remember, Katie Holmes fled the marriage with the help of her attorney father under very bizarre circumstances. She was forced to sign NDAs and has said that she was silenced. What did Katie know? The Odescalchis are considered to be one of the top black nobility families on earth and have command over CERN. Their ancestry traces back to Cernobbio, Italy, which is where the name derives. Fabiola Giannotti is the current Roman director, and if you study the logo, you can see the 3 6s, which is the number of Satan. CERN also displays a statue of goddess Shiva, who is known as the Destroyer, and in her image symbolizes the destruction of the world. James Bauer, an American neuroscientist, created the Genesis simulation software that can manipulate nerve cells through neural systems. In layman's terms, these electronic emissions and wireless frequencies can hack your human body and mind. Genesis can also be used with Yale University software Neuron, which targets the nervous system. Did you know that St. Jude Medical Company has created an implanted Genesis device? Is it a coincidence that Bauer graduated from a Jesuit school? A more famous talking head of the brain implant agenda is Elon Musk. The chip and vaccine agenda is completely 100% anti-Christ. In the King James Bible, Revelations chapter 13 says, "They worship the dragon who gave authority to the beast, and he deceives those on earth, and it is he who causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their foreheads, and that no one may buy or sell except the one who has the mark of the beast or the number of his name. His number is 666. It was the cult of Apollo that created the Roman Empire and the enslavement through debt. These traditions have been passed down to the black nobility. Today's elites are still using these same methods to brainwash and control the world. And the quickest way into the minds and the hearts of people is through global communication. Naomi Campbell has been linked to some of the most prolific pedophile puppets, and check out her home. It is literally in the shape of the Eye of Horus, who is the mother of Isis. The black nobility nicknamed her Ice, I-S. These symbols are transmitted to us all the time, and they are constantly shoving it in our face. Let's get into American holidays. January 1st, known as New Year's Day, is rooted from the day Jesus was circumcised and had his first bloodshed. February 14th, known as Valentine's Day, was the Roman celebration of Lupercalia, in which the Romans sacrificed dogs and goats to the gods. And if you've ever wondered why we hide eggs and force our children to take pictures with creepy Easter bunnies, it is derived from the pagan celebration of ISHTAR. ISHTAR's symbols are the bunny and the egg, because ISHTAR represents sex and fertility. October 31st, known as Halloween, falls on the same day these cultists celebrate the death of Osiris, where they sacrifice something to the gods in hope of Iris's rebirth. December 25th, known as Christmas, was decided by Julius Caesar in celebration of Saturn. The Roman holiday was called Saturnalia, which ushered in the winter solstice. The Romans celebrated with a sacrifice at the Temple of Saturn, honoring the birth of the unconquerable sun. And through their domination, they have made a mockery of Jesus, strayed people away from his teachings and the true Holy Scriptures. It is the Black nobility who practice human sacrifice and perform Black mass rituals. The Black mass ritual was invented by Catherine de' Medici and practiced in the court of Louis XIV, the French nobility Catholic king. The members of mass wear talisman, which are necklaces that are thought to hold magical powers through the children of demons. Asmodeo was one of Lucifer's followers and one of the 7 princes of hell. In the classification of demons, this is where we get the 7 deadly sins, named after the 7 princes of hell. And it is the children of these princes who are worshipped at these Black nobility rituals. In both the Holy Bible and Jewish Bible, these princes are referred to as false gods. The Black nobility calls these deities El, where the word elite derives. Washington, D.C., London, and Vatican City are Jesuit-run Catholic establishments under international maritime law. Notice they all have the same Egyptian monolith, the obelisk, which symbolizes the sun god, Ra. The Black nobility believe that Ra is the sun, with his unblinking, all-seeing eye that will enlighten and illuminate. Hence the word Illuminati. If you put all of these gods together, what does that spell? Is, Ra, El, Israel. Israel was created by the Rothschild family in 1923, and when you see what's going on between Israel and Palestine today, you will see it as an ongoing war between the real Jews and the fake Rothschild Jews. The Zionist Jews are the real enemy of the world. It is important to point out that Satan, the fallen one, rules the world. Revelations 2:9 reads, I know your works, tribulation and poverty, but you are rich, and I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. These Black nobility families have their tentacles in every secret or private organization in the world. The Club of Rome, Bohemian Club, United Nations, the Bilderberg Group, Trilateral Commission, Committee of 300, Council of Foreign Relations, Tavistock, and many more. If you have time, I recommend looking into these organizations and see who funds them and what they have done in the world. Now let's discuss Donald Trump. I was drawn to him from the day he announced he was running for president, and I voted for the guy. To me, he was the opposite of everything I had seen in politics. He made me really excited that he could change everything, and I hadn't felt this way since Ron Paul. Wilbur Ross, who worked for Rothschild Inc., bailed out Trump when his Taj Mahal casino went bankrupt. Wilbur Ross attended Jesuit schools and convinced Rothschilds that Trump was good for it. There's just something that doesn't sit right with me, knowing that Trump was bailed out by the Rothschilds. but now Ross is Trump's Commerce Secretary. If you believe that the black nobility exists, then you have to believe that every president is chosen. So why would they choose Trump? Donald Trump, Ivanka Trump, Don Jr., and Tiffany all went to the Wharton School of Economics, which is a Tavistock-controlled university. Wharton's econometric modeling is used by every Committee of 300 company in the United States. Eric Trump did not attend Wharton, but he did attend Georgetown, a prominent Jesuit school in Washington, D.C. Tiffany also attended Georgetown, where she earned a law degree. Trump's first wife, Ivana, was born to a member of the Czechoslovakian secret intelligence. She has been invited to White House dinners for decades, which she attended while she was still married to Trump, and has been courted at parties by black nobility family members, such as the Gaetanis, the Bourbon to Sicily family, and the Orsinis. She sure seems to be well connected. They all seem to be in the same club. And after all, Mar-a-Lago is the crown jewel of Palm Beach. The crown jewel is a ceremony that takes place in London, which represents power to reign generation after generation. Maybe this is just billionaire culture. Trump's Manhattan apartment was inspired by Louis XIV, the Catholic French King of France. Remember, the King of the Black Mass? Trump does seem like the political black swan, very unexpected. And I keep asking myself, is his presidency real? His politics have favored small government, the rejection of climate change, which we all know to be a Tavistock manufactured construct. He cut taxes, withdrew from the TPP, and rightfully criticized the Federal Reserve, NAFTA, and NATO. He increased tariffs and started a trade war with China. He withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement. He tried to appeal Obamacare, but the House stopped him. His judicial nominees have been pro-life. He is pro-Second Amendment and supports marijuana. He defeated ISIS and Al-Qaeda. MS-13 gang deaths are down. He wants to protect our borders and made strong efforts to denuclearize North Korea. Dennis Rodman is crying on CNN because he knows change is coming. Trump has fired people in the name of draining the swamp and has woken people up to the concept of fake news. And for that, he is not wrong. He is hated by the media, when in the past other presidents were cherished and touted. And remember this?
And do you think that the country will see the United States will see the first gay president or the first woman president?
We already have it with Obama, so let's just calm down.
Got it.
You know Michelle is a trans...
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
She died shortly after this interview went viral. The Democrats have tried to eliminate Trump with the Russian collusion, his abandonment of the Kurds, the Stormy Daniels scandal, the quid pro quo Ukraine scandal. They made a spectacle of the Brett Kavanaugh, Christine Blasey Ford fiasco. They tried to impeach him, and now he's dealing with the coronavirus. I have never seen a president deal with so much scrutiny in my entire life. And to me, it seems that Trump is not business as usual. If you believe in the black nobility, then whoever is the president is most likely out of our control. The rules and laws are out of our control. And even though we know about our straw man, we can't stop living for the good things in life. We can control our thoughts, what we consume, how we choose to spend our time, and who we surround ourselves with. Because at the end of the day, God doesn't want us to live in fear. Perhaps we should stop worrying about the daily drama of the corrupt politicians and the unjust stories we see on the news, and maybe be more concerned with what God will do. Because in my mind, the battle is between God and Satan, and it doesn't get more real than that. I will leave you with that to do your own critical thinking. Until then, stay safe out there and don't stop questioning the world around you.
Hope that's awakening. Hope that was earth-shattering, not earth-shattering, but I hope that gives you another glimpse into the truth and what they are hiding from us. And yeah, just remember not to fear. Stay in your heart. Be in love. Everything's gonna be fine.